Hi there, welcome to the Lad Mix Farm channel. It's Arthur here. Today I would like to take you through some of the challenges actually chili farmers go through, but which they may not be able to air out effectively, or you may not be able to get to hear about it unless you really go to interact one-on-one with some of these people. And then you might be there wanting to venture into chili farming, but it's important when you're well equipped and you have some of this information at the back of your mind. First and foremost, especially when we come to the garden, remember we are into these periods where we have a lot of changes in weather, climate, variations, and it comes with its own challenges. For instance, when it rains, it can rain very highly, very heavily, and then you find that in that rain at the same time, we have what we call the hailstorm. Now, hailstorm is very destructive to chili. And remember, once you get that challenge, it is a disaster. It's a big setback to you as a chili farmer. So one major challenge that chili farmers are facing that you don't get to hear about is the effects of hailstorm on the chili. For instance, us here with this vast garden of around 6 acres of chili, we've been hit once by hailstorm. And what does that mean? It means you cannot be able to sell that crop entirely, because it has a lot of blemishes, it has a lot of dents, it has a lot of broken pieces and so forth. And so it also, once it has a dent, it starts maybe turning yellow at that spot, and therefore it's not a product that can be taken by a chili buyer. What that means essentially is you will have to incur the cost, find the money, and get people, the whole community, and harvest all the chili just as you would as if you're going to sell the chili. But then after that, you have to discard it. Remember, some of it is green, some of it is red. It may not be of that good quality and so forth. So when you harvest, if you have the capacity to dry it, you can dry it. But you're harvesting over a ton, sometimes it can be very heavy, especially during the rainy season. So you have to be able to incur that loss, harvest it and put it aside. Either discard it or dry it. It becomes a major setback. For us, it has become a very big setback to our day-to-day operations, because then you have to wait again for another 2 weeks for the chili to come back, as in it will flower, and by the time it flowers, it takes between 2 to 2.5 weeks for you to pick a chili of this size, which is green. Now, that is one major setback that is affecting farmers. The other one that you may not hear about is that if a chili farmer does not do adequate timing of when to pick the green, sometimes you'll say it doesn't look so mature, let me wait for another 3-4 days and harvest it. By the time you make that decision, you find that this chili is actually more or less getting hard and more mature, to the point that when you harvest this chili and send it to the buyer who says wants green chili, when he puts on the table after 2 or 3 days, you find it's turning either yellowish, others are turning red, and chances are high that the buyer will reject the whole consignment. We've had that challenge where we've lost that kind of volume due to poor timing. When you sense that the chili is not mature, yet it is well grown to the point of picking. Sometimes it happens when you have not got the buyer timely, because some of these buyers, instead of 800 kilograms, will tell you this time I want 200 kilograms. What are you going to do with the other 600? That means you leave it in the garden hoping that you'll get another buyer or pick it the following week. But in that process, it ends up maturing, and therefore you find yourself incurring that loss. If you don't get somebody who's going to take it when it is red, then it's a loss on your side, which is quite unfortunate. Another big challenge is for those of us that pick the chili, especially if you're in a community that is sparsely populated. It means if the market or the buyer has requested for 1 ton, which is 1,000 kilograms, you are not able to pick the 1,000 kilograms in one day. So the other way to manage to beat that challenge is to start picking a day before. Say if the chili is needed on Friday, you find yourself picking on Thursday, either morning or Thursday afternoon, and you keep that product somewhere very cool under a tree or in a shade and leave it, aerated. Then the following day you come and continue picking to make the other volume. But there are chances that by the time you package it, remember what you picked on Thursday morning or Thursday evening, you're going to pack it on Friday evening. and you'll find that this stalk is beginning to dry or to wither or to lose that freshness in it. By the time the buyer puts it on the sorting table, you find it has really deteriorated. It doesn't look good. The chili will look good, will look shiny, but the stalk will be miserable. And to a buyer, that one is already a detriment. It is not something that is going to reflect well in the market, and therefore he does not want to be able to send that to the prospective buyer abroad because he wants to maintain a very good reputation. So under such circumstances, you find your chili being what? Being rejected. Now, we are also having other challenges with some of these buyers. You pick your consignment, you give them, and they take. And you find because you didn't have a proper arrangement with them, remember, you have buyers that are coming in requesting different volumes. And if you have more than what they have requested for, you end up getting other people connecting you to other buyers, and then you're able to supply them. But chances are high that those people will be able to rip you off. You send 500 kilograms, the gentleman agrees, says it's good, he says he's going to send you the money, and you'll never see the money. We have those unscrupulous dealers, exporters, and in most cases, there are our very own Ugandans who are behaving like that. Even the others, they're a minority among the fraternity of the exporting companies, but they can be very frustrating to you, the farmer. So when you're out there and you're not aware, you find yourself expecting to get some money, yet indeed they have fleeced you. And it's quite a big challenge, and you find that chili farmers complaining. The other bit is that you'll send the right consignment, the right quality, the right volume, and you send it to this particular company. But now the company, out of greed, out of wanting to make a lot of money, if it has sorted, let's say you've given them 1,000 kilograms, they'll go and sort this chili, and they'll tell you, we've been able to get 600 kilograms that is good, the other 400 is bad. Yet in actual sense, it is like 150 or 200 kilograms that are not good. But you find that instead of declaring 80 as good chili for you and maybe invoice and pay you that, they'll tell you actually the good chili was 600. So you find yourself getting cheated of the 200 kilograms of chili, just like that. There are people that are becoming unscrupulous, which is very, very bad, especially in this farming business. Remember, when you're doing this, we also rely on a sense of trust. Because remember, for us, for instance, we're in northern Uganda, you have to pick this chili, put it on a bus, and send it all the way to the city. Now, there's no way you're going to be able to move to the city each time, every 2 weeks, as you sort your chili, to go and make sure that you're inspecting your chili as they sort it. Remember, you'll incur a lot in transport, right from the farm to the bus, from the bus to the city, from the city to the warehouse, and then back. But you also have to maybe sleep if you're so tired, spend the night there, or even feeding and so forth. That is a huge cost if you have to do it every after 2 weeks, just to make sure that you're there and they sort when you're available. In most cases, when there's an element of trust, you send it for the good companies, they'll sort, and they'll give you the exact, figure that they've been able to sort. But then it's becoming a challenge where we are increasingly getting these cases where we are all disgruntled with certain companies, and you find farmers rejecting to give them their chili, or if they do, they offer to go and be there. But again, this is a very bad practice, which I feel that as chili farmers or as a prospective farmer, you ought to know. Now, it is important as we decide on which enterprise to go for, to decide basing on one thing. At least this is something I'm getting out of experience. Invest your resources in a product where you have control over the market. The pricing. These exporters will buy your chili. You find the other company here that bought the same green chili from a farmer at, say, 4,000 shillings. And this one wants to give you 2,500. And if you don't have any other option, it tells you, for me, that's what I can give you. If you can find another buyer, you take it. But remember, you have an understanding with this farmer. As I guided you earlier, you need, in other clips, you need to identify the market before you actually plant this chili. But if you get these unscrupulous dealers, you'll find that he will tell you a price which is way, way below the market price. Now, when he bombards you with that response, it's very hard to get another buyer quite quickly. Remember, I told you once you find them still, you'll find they're the ones who are going to fleece you further. So it's important as we go into farming to venture into those activities, those enterprises where you have at least a greater control over the market. For chili, you have no control over the market. It is the buyer who tells you, I'll be giving you 2,000. At this time, it's no, I'm giving you 1,500. I'll be giving you 2. So you find you're at the mercy of this exporter. And yet, if you had another product, you can be able to determine, your own pace. For instance, if you have your cereals, even if it's maize, you'll harvest the maize, keep it. If the price is down after a month or so, it will go up. You can decide to add value to this maize and maybe process the flour. That one can also give you a better source of money extra to when you eat, better than if you had sold it when you've just harvested it. Even pineapple farming, if you venture into pineapple farming, well, there could be times when there's bumper harvest, but still you'll find that you'll be able to make that good, income. You'll tell somebody, okay, for me, my pineapple, I'll give you this big size at 1,500. But at 1,500, when you calculate, you'll find yourself still making quite a lot of money in a particular acre. And yet at the same time, when you're not desperate, you are in control. If this person cannot give you, another person will come. Remember, you'll have the network of farmers you're dealing with. You can take in the cities, you can take in all the other suburbs, you can take in these auction markets and so forth. So you find you are much more or less in control. You bargain for the price that you want, which is not the case with chili, because they'll tell you, the international market, the price is down. And so we are unable to buy it at that much because we cannot make enough money out of it. Then they start claiming on issues to do with the freight charges and taxation, which is true. Freight charges are quite high per kilogram, but still, let's engage in enterprises where you feel you have more control over the market. I felt this was very, very important to let you know as you plan to venture into this crop. It's one crop that has really good income once you get the right partnership, right people you're dealing with, the market, and also where you're located. It's important that you grow this crop in a community where you feel that there are reasonably more people, so that if you call upon the community for a harvesting session, you're able to get response by getting a number of people. But if you try it in a place where you're sparsely populated, you're likely to sweat a lot, and when they know that you don't have more people to come and support you, they'll tend to request for a lot of money to be able to, say, pick a basin of chili. You find they're saying, for us, we want to be able to pick it at 2,500 or 3,000. Yet in actual sense, it's supposed to be at 2,000. It's important that as you think about doing chili farming, please consider these points and make an informed decision. Thank you. If you consider this information helpful, please consider subscribing. And thank you so much to our returning subscribers. We're here because of you, and we wish to journey with you. Send in your comments, and we shall be able to respond as we move along. Thank you very much.